There's something deeply satisfying about crafting something with your own two hands. Something useful, something simple, something that feels like it belongs to your everyday life. In a world full of plastic, digital clutter, and disposable tech accessories, a wooden phone stand is a breath of fresh air. It's minimal, functional, elegant. And even better, you can make it yourself. From scratch. With just a few basic tools and a little patience. The beauty of a DIY wooden phone stand is in its simplicity. You're not building a piece of furniture. You're not carving a sculpture. But somehow it's still a project that feels meaningful. Because we all use our phones. All day, every day. At work. In the kitchen. On the nightstand. And to have a small handmade object that holds your phone for you, perfectly angled, stable, stylish, it's a small piece of calm in an otherwise chaotic, tech-filled day. But this isn't just about function. It's about form. It's about choosing the right wood, thinking about grain direction, playing with angles and curves, and creating something that looks good sitting on your desk or table. Something that you made, not bought. And that quiet pride every time you set your phone down? That's the reward. Start with choosing the right kind of wood. Even for a small project like this, wood choice matters. You might go with something light and clean like maple or birch. Or something rich and dark like walnut. Maybe you've got a scrap of cherry wood lying around from an old project, or a piece of oak that's been tucked away in the garage for months. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, imperfections, little knots, rough edges, subtle variations in tone, can add character. They remind you this isn't a factory-made product. It's yours. As soul. Once you've chosen your wood, it's time to think about the design. And here's where the fun begins. Do you want a simple wedge that leans back at just the right angle? A stand with a groove for both vertical and horizontal use? A slot to pass your charging cable through? Do you want it to fold flat? Do you want a rotating base? You don't need to complicate things. But you do get to choose. Because this isn't just any phone stand. It's yours. It's going to live on your desk, your kitchen counter, your bedside table. So make it fit your life. A basic design might start with a small rectangular base and a second piece, cut at an angle that supports the phone. Somewhere around 60 to 75 degrees from horizontal is usually just right, giving you a comfortable view whether you're watching a video, checking a recipe, or reading messages while working. Cut a small notch into the angled face, a groove about half an inch deep, to cradle your phone securely. And if you want to get fancy, you can round the corners, bevel the edges, or add a second groove to support landscape mode. And let's not forget about the finish. Because this is wood, it deserves to shine. After you've done the cutting and sanding, you'll want to smooth it out. Really feel the grain under your fingers. Go from coarse sandpaper to fine. Work your way down to 220 grit or even higher. It doesn't take long, but it makes all the difference. A well-sanded piece feels like it was meant to be touched. Then you choose your finish. Maybe you go with a natural oil, something like tung oil or Danish oil, that soaks in and enhances the grain without adding too much shine. Or a simple beeswax rub for a matte, soft touch feel. Or a polyurethane coat, if you want a more durable surface that can handle spills and daily use. Whatever you choose, let it sink in. Let it cure. Let it shine. Because this isn't just a piece of wood. Something you made. And once it's done, once the wood is smooth, the edges are softened, and the finish is dry, something small and quiet happens. You pick it up. You hold it. You feel the weight. The smoothness. The way it fits in your hand. You place it on your desk, drop your phone into the groove, and it just fits. Like it was always meant to be there. That's the magic of making things. Even small things. Especially small things. You start to look at the world a little differently. Instead of buying the next plastic gadget or clicking add to cart on a cheap phone accessory, you think, I could make that. And that thought, that shift, that's the start of something bigger. Because after you make one phone stand, maybe you try another. A version with a hinge. One with a charging cable slot. Maybe you gift one to a friend. Maybe you start looking around your home and seeing other opportunities. Other small, everyday objects that could be improved with a touch of wood, a bit of time, and your own creativity. A tablet stand. A key tray. A charging dock. A headphone holder. A watch stand. Little by little, your home becomes filled with things you made. Things that hold meaning. Things that tell your story. And the best part? It doesn't take a workshop full of fancy tools. A small saw, a drill, some clamps, sandpaper. That's all you need to begin. Start with hand tools. Feel the process. Listen to the wood. Pay attention to the details. You'll learn as you go. You'll mess up a few cuts. You'll sand too much here, not enough there. But that's the process. That's the beauty of DIY. The learning is part of the reward. There's also something very grounding about woodworking, even in small projects. The feel of the wood grain under your fingers. The scent of sawdust. The quiet focus of measuring, marking, cutting. It slows you down. Brings you into the moment. In a world of screens and fast clicks and instant everything, making something slowly by hand feels radical. Feels right. And let's be honest, there's a kind of pride that comes with using something you made every single day. A phone stand isn't flashy. It's not a statement piece. But it's there. Always. Holding your phone while you eat. Keeping it upright during calls. Catching it at night while you sleep. And every time you see it, you're reminded, you made that. You created something from raw material. From nothing but a piece of wood and an idea. That's the core of it. You don't need a massive project to feel like a maker. You just need one small thing. One idea. One moment of curiosity. And suddenly, a piece of scrap wood becomes a fixture in your life. Useful. Beautiful. Yours. So if you've been thinking about building something, anything, let this be the invitation. Grab a piece of wood. Dust off your tools. Sketch a shape. Make a cut. Feel the grain. Follow the curve. And don't worry if it's not perfect. Don't worry if the angles are a little off, or the groove isn't perfectly straight. That's not the point. The point is, you made it. Because a wooden phone stand isn't just about holding your phone. It's about holding space for creativity. For calm. For care. It's about proving to yourself that you can take an idea and turn it into something real. Something useful. Something beautiful. And once you've done it once, you'll never look at a piece of wood the same way again. A DIY wooden phone stand might seem like a small project, but that's exactly what makes it so satisfying. It's quick, functional, and it gives you the chance to turn a basic necessity into a personal piece of design. Whether you're crafting something simple to sit on your desk or a more refined piece that matches your interior style, building your own wooden phone stand is proof that even the smallest details can carry weight, purpose, and style. The beauty lies in its simplicity. A few cuts, a little sanding, maybe a groove or two, and suddenly you've created something that's not just useful but beautiful in its own right. Something that holds your phone while you work, scroll, watch, or call, but also tells a quiet story about craftsmanship. It doesn't need to be ornate. It doesn't need to be complex. It just needs to work well and feel intentional. And when it's made from real wood, it instantly brings warmth and texture to your space. One of the most appealing things about making a wooden phone stand is the freedom to choose your own materials and aesthetic. Want a clean, Scandinavian-style stand made from pale birch or maple? Easy. Prefer something darker and more rustic, with visible knots and grain from reclaimed wood? That works too. You can go with sleek curves, precise angles, or even a more sculptural form. The choice is yours, and that's the power of DIY. You're not buying a one-size-fits-all solution. You're building something that fits your style and your needs. And as small as this project is, it's also an opportunity to practice foundational woodworking techniques. Measuring, cutting, gluing, sanding, finishing. These are the same skills used in furniture making, cabinetry, and sculpture, just on a smaller, more manageable scale. And with each project you get sharper, more confident, more connected to the material in your hands. It's also one of those rare projects where form and function are perfectly balanced. A phone stand needs to hold your device securely, but how it does that is completely up to you. Some designs rely on simple geometry, a notch in a block, or two intersecting pieces that slot together. Others incorporate adjustable angles or cable management. But no matter the approach, there's something deeply satisfying about seeing a flat board become a functional object. About taking scraps and offcuts and turning them into something purposeful. And don't underestimate the tactile joy of working with wood on this scale. You feel the edges smooth out under sandpaper. You watch the grain come to life as you apply oil or finish. You test the fit of each groove until everything lines up just right. It's not just about the final product, it's about the act of making. Slowing down. Focusing in. Creating with intention. In the end, a DIY wooden phone stand is more than a quick project. It's a reminder that design doesn't have to be complicated to be meaningful. That beauty often lies in the practical. That when you work with natural materials, Even a simple object can carry a sense of calm, craftsmanship, and connection. So next time you reach for your phone, imagine reaching for something you made yourself. Something solid, personal, honest. That's the heart of woodworking. Not just shaping wood, but shaping experience. Even in the smallest of ways.